from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Report.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Forecaster John Bordash here with you in the Storm Center this evening, continuing to track what is likely only the beginning of a pretty active period across the region. But before we get too underway, let me know if you can hear me, just to make sure that we are all good to go on that end before we get into the good details and nitty-gritty. What I will say in the meantime is you can get this full forecast over at the link that's in the description of this video. That's at jbweather.net. It took a long time to get that forecast together. It's pretty extensive. There's a lot of writing. There is a lot of graphics over there, and it gives you the whole setup there. And I see people say they can hear me loud and clear. Thank you so much for that. So we are kicking off what is going to be an active storm period. I posted this yesterday. This is our temperature outlook over the next 1 to 2 weeks. The Climate Prediction Center is favoring below average temperatures east of the Mississippi River here as we head deeper into January and as we turn on over towards February. This means we're talking about highs that potentially can only be in the 30s and 40s, lows in the teens and 20s, and our active storm track looks to stick around through the end of the month. And you can see that reflected here on the 10-day forecast. Tomorrow's cold and breezy. We'll get into that in just 1 second. Then Sunday to Monday, we have our storm system. Temperatures fall a little bit as we head towards Tuesday. Wednesday, we warm things back up, but then we get a cold front that works through, and maybe it brings with it a shower or a flurry overnight. Temperatures really bottom out here as we head towards the end of next week. As a weak system passes off the shoreline Friday evening, we have the potential for a light flurry. We clear out Saturday, and then Sunday to Monday, we're watching the potential for yet another system. So I believe if you were to count it up here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 separate chances of wintry weather here over the next 10 days. Some are a bigger deal than others. The Sunday to Monday system next week would probably be the next real threat of actual winter weather, but details are very sketchy on that right now, and that's day 9, day 10. So we're really not focusing too much on that. We're just alerting you that that's there. Friday would be, probably a low-end event, so would Wednesday night, but again, details there are very sketchy. Let's just get through Sunday to Monday first and deal with these systems as they come through. So we're going to be working through this tomorrow. Again, cold, windy. We're going to struggle to get out of the 20s for most of us. I think we top out in the upper 20s. 28, 29 degrees will be good numbers, I think, for much of our region. Winds are going to stick around. Winds could gust upwards of 15 to 20, maybe even 25 miles an hour. In the morning, that'll make it feel like the upper single digits, lower teens, and then by the afternoon, we'll be feeling a little warmer, getting closer towards about like 20 degrees for a feel-like temperature. So tomorrow's going to be pretty cold. And you would think with these numbers, we would be talking about a snowstorm coming our way Sunday night into Monday. And at one point, sure, it did look like that, but that's not the current forecast. And it hasn't been the forecast really for a few days now, because we're going to be looking at this system bringing warm air with it. But we do have a winter storm watch issued from I-95 points west. So this locally would include Stafford, Spotsylvania, Caroline counties, Prince William, Fairfax counties on over towards Virginia, DC, and then Montgomery County on over towards Maryland, and then back out towards the mountains. That's going to be in effect from 1 p.m. Sunday through 7 a.m. on Monday. That's where the highest snow totals are likely going to fall, and they're definitely going to be focused west of I-81, I think. But rain, ice, and wind will be big factors, not just within this area too, but outside of the area, outside of this watch area. So I would expect for additional alerts to be issued as we get closer to the event. We'll probably see winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories get issued either late tomorrow or Sunday morning, but probably late tomorrow. Some of our region might be under that, maybe like Charles, PG County, under an advisory. And then we're probably going to be looking at wind alerts getting issued as well. And we might even be looking at a couple of flood alerts getting issued. So again, we have the storm system from the south. It's going to be tracking its way on up the coastline here. It's not exactly off the coastline. It's taking that inland track that we've been watching. With that, it keeps the cold air north and west of the storm track that brings in with it a warm and moist air fetch off the Atlantic. That's going to bring with it gusty winds, and then warm air is going to wrap around the center of the storm as we have winds that move counterclockwise around the storm. So it's kind of an overview of what we're talking about. What are the biggest impacts going to be? Where will they come from with this storm? Again, it's tracking up I-95. So from I-95 points east, the biggest impacts are going to come from rain and wind. You might still see snow and ice in this region too, especially our region, but rain and wind are going to be the big headlines here. I think from I-95 to I-81, your biggest headline here, the biggest impact is going to come from a wintry mix of snow going over to sleet, freezing rain, eventually over to rain. You will deal with wind here too, and then you have to head all the way back out west to I-81 towards the mountains to really see significant snowfall. If this low pressure was tracking maybe 100 miles further east, we could be talking about snow getting into our region, at least significant snow. But this one, it's going to be cutting it pretty close. This is what I expect with precipitation types as we head into Sunday going into Monday morning. It's going to be mostly snow again, I-81 points west from about I-81 to I-95. You're talking snow here, but that goes to a mix in rain. But you should still see some moderate accumulations. I-95 to the bay, you will see some snow here. So I do think we see some snow for much of our local region here in southern Maryland and the northern neck. But I think that quickly goes over to a mix and then over to a rain. And then south and east of our region, on over towards the lower eastern shore, we're talking a mostly rain event for you. So this is the first call snow and sleet forecast. And I see a quick question about Prince Frederick Tuesday. You should be fine Tuesday. This is the first call snow and sleet forecast here for you. I don't have any accumulations locally. I'll get you to the hyper-local forecast here in a second. But you're going to find the highest accumulation, 6 to 12 inches plus on out towards the mountains. I think we're talking 4 to 8 inches along I-81, extending up into parts of Pennsylvania. 3 to 5 inches south and east of there as you head towards Montgomery, Loudoun, Fauquier, Prince William County. And along I-95, I think we're talking a 1 to 3. We do have an ice component with this storm as well. A glaze of ice is going to be possible for many locations, but some areas, especially in central Virginia, could be looking at around 1/4 inch of ice. This would come from freezing rain, which is different than sleet. Sleet would be ice pellets that are falling. Freezing rain is liquid rain that is freezing on it's freezing when it makes contact with a frozen surface. So that's going to be the distinction there. Our region here in southern Maryland, I don't think we need to worry too much about freezing rain, at least a prolonged period of it, largely because we have the bay next to us, which is warmer, with quotations. Air temperatures over the bay are in the 40s right now. That onshore wind will bring that into our atmosphere. It's going to warm the column of air up pretty quickly. So we should go from snow, maybe a quick period of sleet and freezing rain, but then really just kind of over to a rain. Locally, I think many of us are going to see under an inch. And maybe I'm a little low here. There is the potential maybe for, let's say, Leonardtown, Prince Frederick to get an inch out of this, and I'll show you that timing here in a second. But I wouldn't bank on much from most of our region. I think you need to head towards 301 points west. So we're talking from Colonial Beach, Newburgh, La Plata, Waldorf, Brandywine, points west towards Washington, Indian Head, Stafford, Fredericksburg. That's where you have the highest chance to see between 1 to 3 inches. If I had to break it down, it's probably more like a 1 to 2 locally in that region. And then once you head out towards Manassas, Warrenton, you're talking 3 inches plus out there. Let me get you on over to timing though. Let's kind of work through this together. This is Futurecast starting here for you Sunday morning at 7. Not much going on at all. I think we're looking fine Sunday. As you put this into motion, you can see snow beginning to creep into central Virginia here as we head towards the lunch hour. And then our Futurecast has this precip beginning to cross the Potomac into our region here as we get close to about 12, 1, 2 o'clock or so. And temperatures at this point should still be sitting in the upper 20s, lower 30s. So this precip should begin as a snow mix for most of us. The more substantial snows will be found out west, but we should at least get in on a period of snow for many of us. Our extreme coastal locations of southern Calvert and southern St. Mary's County might not see necessarily as much snow, just because you have that warmer influence for you. But you see snow across much of the region, and then that rain-snow line starts to creep up. So we could see a couple of hours of snow, right? Futurecast shows us that right around 2 o'clock, let's bring this back a little bit. We moved it forward. As we bring it back here, we get precip starting around 2. This has some snow for most of us around 3, 4 o'clock, but then that rain snow line moves north and west between 5 and 6. So maybe you get a couple of hours, maybe a few hours of snow. You're going to sit with snow the longest north and west of, let's say, La Plata, Prince Frederick, I think. But even by 6 o'clock, I think you're over to rain. But our Futurecast doesn't really show that potential of freezing rain and sleet being prolonged across our region. What we do see, though, look at this more of a soaking, more of a steady rain that's going to be moving up into our region. So let's put this back in motion here for you. So as we push on over towards 8 o'clock, which you'll notice, and I'll put this forward just a little more so it kind of gets through here, we have a soaking rain for many areas east of I-81. You get a freezing rain mix here along I-81 with snow back out to the west. Yeah, I mean, if we just bring this back here, you can see we get oranges popping up. I don't know if we're talking thunderstorms, but I do think we're talking a soaking rain. I'll show you what Futurecast does for rain totals here in just a second. Snow sticks around out west, though, in the mountains. But then we start to clear things out after midnight gradually as that storm pushes off to the north and east. Maybe we get some wraparound snow showers Monday morning. I wouldn't bank on this, though. Models tend to overdo the back end snow, but maybe we see a leftover snow shower Monday morning. But really, I think by the time we head on over towards 10 o'clock, we're really starting to clear things out across our region. In terms of how much precip our Futurecast is putting down, and let me get it out that far. We want the 17th. We'll just take it out to 1 o'clock just to make sure we're good. Our Futurecast is putting down upwards of an inch and a half of rain locally. So that's a decent amount of precip across our region that we're going to have to contend with, I think. So this isn't really a big snow event for us, and it really isn't even a big ice event, I don't think. If you do see any areas of freezing rain that do try to stick around a little longer, it would be like Nanjemoy, Indian Head, Marshall Hall, Akakie, west of Brandywine, maybe up near Andrews, Capitol Heights, DC, on up towards Bowie, maybe that region, and then out towards Virginia. I think that's going to be your area of concern. I think our biggest thing, though, is going to be the winds, and I think this is underplayed, and I think when we get to Sunday night, people are going to be like, what? There's a windstorm going? And I don't know if I'd call it a windstorm, but this storm, and let me bring it back over here to Futurecast, it really does show the story here. So let me come back here to Futurecast Radar, and what I want to do is bring us to when we're looking at, here we go, that's a pretty good look here. Look at the comma shape here with this storm, right? So let me draw on here. You can see it pretty clearly. Actually, I don't think I can do that, but you can see that strong moisture fetch here coming off of the Atlantic Ocean right into our region. That's going to bring with it some pretty hefty winds off the ocean. So I think our immediate Atlantic communities could be looking at 45 to 60 mile an hour winds on out towards that region. 35 to 50 mile an hour winds look possible locally. They will slow down a little bit coming over the Delmarva, but our bayfront communities are likely looking at a stark wind gust Sunday night going into Monday. And you're going to see a secondary area of gusty winds up along the spine of the Appalachians. So that's kind of an overview of that wind threat. We do have a power outage threat too. I'm going to put our region under that medium category of scattered. And it's going to be because we have 35, 40, 50 mile an hour wind gusts across the region Sunday night that could try to knock down some power lines and bring down some tree branches. But the greatest power outage threat, I think, is going to be our immediate coastal communities again. So putting it all together, I think we're talking about a high winter weather threat across our region Sunday night going into Monday, but it isn't so much from snow or ice. I'll have that elevated right now, but even that might be a little high. I think our biggest impact comes from rain and wind, and you likely will have some road impacts, and that might even linger into Monday morning. Here's that impact timeline for you. A little bit of snow to start with. That won't be a high impact, I don't think. We go over to some sleet, maybe a little freezing rain. That might offer a higher impact, but not necessarily high. Those wind gusts, though, look at that 47 mile an hour wind gust possible as we near 9 o'clock. That could lead to some scattered outages. Roadways, Sunday afternoon, slick spots to start because we have snow and ice falling. But as we transition over to rain, those will melt away, but then we're bringing in those gusty winds, which will help to reduce visibility and make driving on area bridges difficult. So we'll keep low to moderate road impacts as we head through the evening, and then behind the system into Monday morning, cold air wraps back in, and Monday morning's low is likely going to be in the 30s. So we could be talking about a refreeze on area roads on Monday, but then we really start to clear things out. And let me take you back to that 10-day forecast. Much of Monday, I think it's clear that rain snow icon is really only for the AM hours. We will likely be breezy behind this system. Tuesday's a little colder. I don't think we're talking about a refreeze Monday night into Tuesday, though. So Tuesday looks fine. Work, school, locally at least. You might have some issues back west in the mountains where they're dealing with potentially over a foot of snow. But then a little bit of a roller coaster right here, middle of the week, but then end of the week, we really bottom things out, and we have a couple of snow chances hidden in there too. So that's kind of an overview of what we're talking about, and I'm surprised I got through that in about 15 minutes. So thank you all for listening to me ramble. If you have any questions, put them in the comments now, and I will read them. It's difficult for me to scroll back up to read them, so if you have questions, let me know. And Kat, I wouldn't say I got anyone worked up for anything at all. I don't think you're following them. At least I don't think you're following my page. Because this entire time I've said we were not looking at much. Now, if you were looking at that viral snow map of 30 to 40 inches, you're probably let down. We're looking at rain. And that's why we don't use snow maps 10 days out. Oh, Shirley, we can't talk about next weekend yet. People tried talking about this weekend's storm when we were at last weekend, and people were sharing 30 to 40 inch snow maps, and look what happened. So we're leaving that one alone. And yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a week full of snow. I think this looks a lot more ominous, a lot more frightening than it really is. That Wednesday night into Thursday threat really is just with a cold front. It's nothing too big. Friday nights with a storm system passing off the coastline. Let's see. Any chances storm slows down and puts out more? This storm's moving at a pretty good clip. It had initially looked like this storm wouldn't be out of here to maybe noon on Monday. We've cut that time all the way back to like before sunrise now Monday. So this storm looks like it'll be moving at a good clip. So I don't think we're talking about any additional precip. The only way we could look at more snow would be if cold air sticks around longer, but I wouldn't bank on that. Let's see, will the roads be icy Sunday afternoon around? Yes. And especially leaving the DC metro area, Mike. Now, I think as you get into Calvert County, you should be fine with just wet roadways, but I would be aware for some slick roadways. Let's see, no ticker. No, Pam, and we don't need the ticker for this, because the ticker would be the same thing. It would, let me get out here. It would be less than an inch for most everyone. So there's no need for the ticker. I'll do the ticker. If we all can get at least an inch, then we'll put that's when I normally put the ticker on. But when everyone has largely the same forecast, I don't really do it because there just isn't any variance. I know, that's kind of depressing to say. And I can tell that I feel like a lot of people got really hyped for this storm, right? Because earlier in the week, a lot of people were like tuning in and trying to figure out what's going on. And I think as it's come into better picture now that it's going to be rain. And let me clarify that with saying, I've been saying that a lot. And you can check the receipts on that. If we go back to Tuesday, we were saying that. But I think as like more of the news people begin to acknowledge it instead of like hyping up the snow potential that they did in the online forums that were putting up the 30 to 40 snow maps. I think as they've begun to talk more about this being more rain for our region, people are like, oh, wow, this is a bust. Okay. And of course, Michael, we have a lot of followers actually from the Northern Neck. Like, we have a lot of followers from Westmoreland, King George, Spotsylvania, Stafford, Caroline. Yeah, lots of y'all over there. Nice little constituency. And yeah, Rachel, these forecasts are always prone to change. That's why I don't normally put out a public snow map more than 48 hours in advance. It's like people wanted a snow map on Tuesday, and the snow map I would have put out on Tuesday probably, like had I gone right off the models, would have had like maybe 3 to 4 inches in our area. And that's not the case today, so that forecast would have changed drastically. And my purpose here is to have a concise message for you all that doesn't get confusing. It's like JB is forecasting one thing one day, but another thing another day. Meteorology is, as at least I wouldn't necessarily put myself within the same category as a broadcaster, but when you're doing public outreach like this, it's as much about the science as it is about communication, and you want a concise message. Yeah, Lynn says she's perfectly fine with rain. Okay, so Friday, we all need to speak snow into... Maybe, we'll see. Please do not get your hopes up. I'll come back to the 10-day forecast. Please don't get your hopes up for a lot of snow this week. It looks, I think, and maybe I shouldn't have done it, but I think this looks a lot more intimidating than it probably is. Wednesday to Thursday probably isn't a big deal. Friday probably isn't a big deal, but we'll see. That's day 7. Sunday to Monday might be the next system to really watch, but even that is really iffy. So I would take this with a grain of salt. Notice how much things changed with the weekend forecast, and just think when those posts came out, we were as far away from the weekend as we are right now from next weekend. So just keep that in mind. And I know, Tim, I tend to disappoint a lot, especially with these snowfall forecasts. Icy roads Sunday night into Monday morning, Fredericksburg potentially. Let me bring you over to Futurecast. I need to bring you on over here. Let me bring up our temperature potential. I want to zoom us on into our region. Let's come on in. I want to take you out. This is Sunday at 10. What I want you to notice here, look at how the warm air here is feeding off the ocean, kind of punching right into our region. That's why we're switching over to rain. And then cold air wraps in on the back side of this, but the precip is moving out, so we're probably not looking at additional snow. But this is Monday at 7. Fredericksburg, you're back down to freezing. We're near freezing here in southern Maryland. So that's why we're talking about a potential refreeze situation Monday morning. Thankfully, not many people are traveling, but keep that in mind if you are. And yeah, Rachel, she knew, but because she was following JB weather, she knew what was going on. And yeah, Catherine, I know you're hoping that snow hangs on a little longer. We'll see. I'm not. Some people are a lot more hopeful than I am. I'm very pessimistic with this forecast, and I have been the whole time, because these coastal situations, and what I want to do actually, let me show you, and actually you can see. Let me bring you on over. First, let me bring you here. You can see where our storm system is right now. It is bringing snow across Iowa, getting into Missouri. This is our system right now, and if I bring it on over here, what's going to happen with it is that our area low pressure, and you can barely see that, is right here. It's going to dive down, pick up moisture, and then come up just like that. That's where our system is. That's where it's going. What normally happens with these systems is, in the long range, our models will show a storm track like this. And that would be a good track for us, because that keeps the low pressure area far enough away from our region, and then that puts your heaviest snow right into this area. In the 8.5 years of forecasting, that track has happened once. It's actually happened. What tends to happen is that we will go from a track like this, which is what led to 30 to 40 inch snow maps, to a track like this, and then eventually we come to a track like this. It comes that far inland, and that is exactly what has happened again. And so on Monday, when a lot of our models showed this, with heavy snow right into this region, I wasn't biting it at all. And I had a feeling it was going to come, pretty far inland. And when it did on Monday, or on Tuesday on our modeling, and it stayed consistent, yeah, that's why, these systems all tend to act in the same way. And no, it's not a typical January storm track. In the middle of the winter, it is very rare to get a storm track like this. Normally that happens in November and happens in February and March. Typically in January, we either have a storm track that is well out here, and we don't even see snow east of the Appalachians, or we have a storm track that's off the coast. It's very rare to get one right in the middle here. That's a very like early winter or late winter setup. That isn't one we typically see right now, which is why some people didn't think it would happen, and maybe it won't. The event still hasn't happened yet, but we seem pretty set in our ways on how this might come through together. Let's see. I'm traveling home from New York to Huntingtown. What day and time would be best to travel? The cold tomorrow would probably be best, but you could probably be fine if you're getting into Huntingtown by lunchtime on Sunday. So and I would imagine that's probably like a 6 or 7 hour drive. So let's say you leave at like 4 or 5 in the morning Sunday, or if you were to leave Tuesday, because up in New York, depending on where you are in New York, they're still looking at snow up there Monday. So either get home by noon on Sunday, or leave for Tuesday. Yeah, I tell you, maybe this will shift east. We'll see. I'm not convinced that will happen just yet, though. Let's say it's not a big deal. I don't know what I was saying that in reference to. It's not. Was I saying that with our snow totals? I don't know. Let's see. So the wind map and hours for the wind. Yeah, John, let me come back over here. So those are kind of two separate graphics that I'll show you both. This presentation is long. This is our peak wind map. The next graphic I'll show you will be the wind timing for our region. So highest wind gusts are going to be really from I-95 points east, and then also out in the mountains, because they have higher terrain out there, which helps to slope up the wind a little bit more. And then if we come out here to the timing for you, our highest wind gusts will be between about sunset-ish, maybe a little bit before that, but around sunset Sunday night, lingering through about sunrise Monday morning. But we're gonna keep wind gusts between 20 to 30 miles an hour throughout Monday. Need at least one code yellow or red. I feel that my semester starts Tuesday, so I was hoping, to end out winter break with a nice snowstorm coverage. And I was hoping I'd be able to come back, down to Southern Maryland to track this one, but I'm not coming down for rain, right? But this week is going to be active, so that'll keep me busy. At least it's the beginning of the semester, and it's syllabus week, so we'll see. And yeah, it's going to be a cold January. And talk about a complete role reversal from December. Complete 180. And yet, Jennifer, and I don't know if I was talking to you about this in one of the comment threads today, or maybe it was yesterday, but it seems like we always get our best snows when it's like 60 degrees the day before. Very rarely, it seems. And I know like scientific or analytical data to back this up, so it's very much just, like anecdotal. But over the last few years, and really since I've been doing this, it seems like our best snows, when we can get 4 to 8 plus, is when 60 or 50 degrees the day before. These cold setups always seem to end up leading us to more of an icy mix situation. So we're coming in from 95 from South Carolina Sunday. Yeah, Karen, I would definitely wait till Monday. Let me show you here. I'm going to bring this over here so I can see it. Let me load up our watches and warnings on the interactive map, and I'll show you what we're talking about for that. Let me turn all these layers off. Yeah, down there, you were looking at huge issues down in South Carolina. Especially, and maybe not necessarily where you're going to be at in South Carolina, but traveling 95, that's going to be troublesome. So let me bring you on over here. We will allow our watches and warnings to load up for you if they want to. But you're going to see, and it doesn't seem like they want to load up. What I can show you, maybe now, no. What we are looking at, let me just bring on the National Weather Service ice forecast, and that doesn't seem like it wants to work. It tends to happen when we need this the most. It's a shame. So we're looking at really significant ice accumulations, really like right into this region. And let me put on, and actually, I'm going all over the place. Just to give you this, let me bring up one of our online models. this will show you what we're talking about down in the southeast. They're looking at a pretty big ice event. So let me bring you on over here. Yeah, this works better. So this is the southeast. Let's push this on through. So you see snow in the foothills, but look at that thick area of ice. I mean, if we just look at the ice amounts that that's putting down, and that starts, let's bring this back. This is starting Saturday night into Sunday. This is Sunday, getting like Sunday morning, right around sunrise. And then you're just following that up by 95. If we look at ice totals, freezing rain, our model, and let's kind of zoom in here to South Carolina. Oof, that's a lot of ice. Our model here, this is the Euro, and you can barely see that, right? Like through here, is putting out over an inch of ice, and you can get some pretty big ice issues just when you get to a quarter inch. So you're seeing 4 times that amount. So you're talking about some big issues on over towards South Carolina. This starts Sunday, and I might have said Saturday. My apologies if I did, but this starts Sunday. Will New York to Huntington be clear Tuesday? Yeah, you should be fine Tuesday. Leaving from North Carolina, when should I head home? I would leave no later than tomorrow night. And Patricia, you are indeed one of the only ones wishing for no snow. There is a stark divide amongst the JB weather followers between who are snow lovers and who are not. I think though the snow lovers outnumber the non-snow lovers probably like by 2-to-1 ratio. I should do a poll to see. But yeah, Patricia, you are in the minority, at least on this page. Megan wants to know, rain or snow in St. Mary's? You're probably looking at maybe an hour of snow Sunday that goes over to rain. And yeah, Bobby, I would assume that 95 is probably super busy with salt trucks. After what happened last Monday with that winter storm and that like traffic backup for like 24 hours, yeah, I think that's why the Virginia governor's already declared a state of emergency. Like I think, yeah, they're taking extra precautions just to cover their behind. Amy wants to know about Nanjamoy. And it might be easier just for me to come back there this way. Nanjamoy, you might be able to squeeze out an inch or 2 out of this. Maybe. Mike says no snow, so we have another no snow lover there for you. But you might be able to squeeze out an inch or 2 of snow before maybe an hour or 2 of sleet and freezing rain, and then rain. You're looking at wind too. So that's pretty much everything for you. This, it's not an overly interesting forecast for our local region at all. And I mean, given that I've spent a lot of this week tracking this, I would have liked to have seen this trend in a snowier direction. It still has time, but I'm not. There's a reason I never really trusted this. Debbie wants to know about DC. Up there, maybe you see more like a 2 to 3 inch amount for a few hours on Sunday, starting after lunchtime, going through about, let's call it right around sunset. And then you see a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, and then you're going to go over to just plain rain up there too. Brenda wants to know if there's another storm in our future. Yes. Sarah said that map is so sad. It is, and I don't like making maps like that. I wait all year for winter, like between really March and like December. We can get some tropical entities and maybe some severe storm days, but like I like winter weather forecasting a lot more than severe weather forecasting because to me it's more fun to track. With severe weather, there is so much that can prevent a severe, and I don't want severe weather, right? But like severe weather is much more prone to bust. You get one extra cloud, you're not looking at anything, right? And hurricanes, oh god, just the devastation of that is too much. So yeah, winter weather, I mean, you can get power outages, and people do die from winter storms. However, the numbers are far less with them, if that makes sense. But yeah, so upcoming snow chances Wednesday night. I wouldn't bank on it. It's there though. Friday, and I can show you some of the modeling with this. And then Sunday and a Monday. And yeah, Jonice have still a bit of winter left, and that is very true. And those that have lived in Southern Maryland long enough know our peak snow season normally is really between about Martin Luther King Jr. Day and President's Day. That 4 week period is almost always when we see the bulk of our snow. The secondary snow season would be from President's Day to St. Patrick's Day. We normally you can get some stray years where you can get snow in December, but that's not a big thing for us. And even early January, that's not a big thing for us. It's middle of January through about the middle of February is when we're looking at. Flying to Florida at 6:20 Sunday. So the wind's coming from the south, or the storm's coming from the south. So you may have some issues with that, Andrea. La Plata, Wanda, you're not looking, maybe an inch or two there. It's not too much though. And this storm is coming from the south, but moving due north. So if you've been following, the last few weeks, because we've done a lot of these live streams, and Catherine's been here for all of them, so she knows what I'm about to say. My Goldilocks zone, and you all pretty much know this too if you lived around here long enough. Our Goldilocks zone, if you're a Southern Maryland snow fan, you want to track from either Virginia Beach out to sea or from Cape Hatteras, like somewhere within there. This storm, sure, will pass through that, but it's coming northbound. And not just northbound, it's probably going to track right over us. So yeah, that's not a good setup. Yeah, Joni, the Monday storm and that was a heavy wet snow with wind. Yeah, no. Angie, for Harwood, you're not looking at much. Let me. Uh, so many slides. Yeah, Harwood probably less than an inch. Let's see, how long do I think Southern Maryland will see snow before switching to rain? Yeah, no, Catherine, you're fine. And I think we probably see snow break out between like 12 and 2. And then we probably Southern St. Mary's will go to rain almost within an hour of that. Northern, let's say like PG and Arundel County, you might not go over to rain until like 6. So think of a gradient between there between let's say 3 o'clock Southern St. Mary's. So if I were to like draw this out, because Futurecast can get a little like hard to use at this range because it isn't the best resolution. You're probably looking at a switch over time around 3 o'clock here. Up here is like a 6, so 6 p.m., 3 p.m. So you're probably looking at like a 5 p.m. switch over time here and like a 4 p.m. switch over time here. And they could go a lot quicker than this, but I mean, our general motion here, right, is to the northwest. So that's generally when you're going to switch from rain to snow. Or sorry, snow to rain. And I knew I was going to miss that. And this rain snow, it's going to work its way pretty far west. I think we're talking that rain snow line is probably getting all the way through here. That pink line. Back here, you're probably going to stick with snow. But out here, you're going to see snow that goes to rain. And I'm going to run out of room. But I think the area we need to watch for with icing, the area I'm the most concerned about is kind of right through here. That's a region I think you could see over a 1/4 inch ice. But I think that stays west of our zone. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have for you tonight. So I think we're just about good. We're reaching 40 minutes. That's normally how long these go, between 40 and 60. So we'll wrap things up. I've been behind the computer screen a lot today, so I need to get from behind. So thank you all for joining. We'll do another one of these tomorrow night. I don't suspect this will change too much, and if anything, it would offer even less snow than I have right now. And I did tell you we would look at the models quick. My apologies. Let's do that. So don't need to leave just yet. We can get into that. So first what I'll do is I'll show you our American model and how it kind of plays things out here. And this is a look at more like a US picture here. And you can see it takes our area low pressure. You see it right down here. and it's going to track it right up through here. It's a ugly storm track. And we can see, yeah, that comes on through. Now let's, this is Tuesday, Wednesday. Here comes our cold front. What we're going to see is we have an area of low pressure. That's what we call a clipper system, an Alberta clipper. That'll stay north of our region. That's where most of the snow is going to stay. But attached to it, though, we have a cold front. So that's what's going to allow for some warmer air to work on up, but then we have colder air behind it. And what I want you to notice happens here, so this is Wednesday, that pushes through, and again, this doesn't look like a big thing at all. Again, our area low pressure, it's associated cold front. We could see some sprinkles and flurries. It doesn't look like a big deal though. As we move things on over here, Friday, this would be maybe our next system. We have an area low pressure here, and this is really getting into the long range, so really take this with a grain of salt. But the general consensus is that we'll have an area low pressure around the region moving out to sea. How far north or south is still up to question. If it's further south, and again, it's moving this way, but if it's further south, we see nothing. Too far north, we're looking at a situation we're looking at now. But this will be the next one to watch. Our model currently has a little bit of snow with it, and it develops it into a little coastal storm. We'll see. And then you see another system down here as we get into Sunday and a Monday. This model here doesn't have too much. This is on Monday, but you see it takes the same general track. So I think this is going to be what we're talking about as we get into the short term here. Let me bring you on over here. Let's get rid of that. I think our storm track as we head towards the end of next week is going to feature areas of low pressure that develop down here and track like this. The question will be, do they track more like this, that down to the south, and that offers very little for our region? Or do they track a little bit further north and that offers a little bit more snow for our region? That's the question. And the two time frames I think we need to watch for this would be really probably next Friday night. And I would say probably Sunday into Monday that we need to watch for this. Our current modeling shows maybe it's a little bit more like Monday, but these systems have a way of speeding up, so maybe it's a little bit more like Sunday. I would definitely watch this Sunday into Monday threat, though. This Friday evening threat, it's something. We'll see, though. We're still so far out, though, from these threads, and then things are going to change a million times, so don't latch on. You're only going to get yourself upset here, but yeah, that's kind of everything I think we're talking about. But I think that we definitely have cold and snow chances as we continue to head deeper into the month. Coming back over here, let me show you that extended forecast, and then we'll wrap things up here. We have below average temperatures, I think, coming into the region that are going to stick around through the end of the month. And we might get a couple of warm days mixed in there, but the general theme will be below average temperatures. And average right around this time of year is 44, 45, 46 degrees. So that would mean highs in the low 40s and into the 30s. So I think that's what we kind of have to look forward to. Let's see. And yeah, Mike, the rain's going to wipe. Yeah, any accumulation you see east of I-81 is by and large going to get washed away with the rain Sunday night. So sure, you might see an inch in like Charles County, but that goes away pretty quickly, I think. So that's pretty much everything I have for you. If you stuck around this long, I hope I kind of rewarded you by showing you some of the longer range output stuff. But that's pretty much everything. So we'll continue to track things. I might have an update for this forecast tomorrow. If things don't look like they've drastically changed, I might just say that update for Sunday, or maybe I won't need to update this forecast at all. So that's pretty much everything I think we're looking at right now. So have a nice and safe one. Keep it tuned here to JB Weather. I'll continue to keep you updated. In the meantime, though, have a nice and safe evening. Stay warm out there. It's going to be pretty cold tonight. We'll talk again this same time tomorrow.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.